if you ask me what really mattered in your life, was those three letters: NDA, teamwork. Insulting time when you say it's money, belief, ROTI,
Right.
return on time invested.
Yes.
I found my purpose of life at the age of 58 there, and the leader's main job is to make sure that doesn't look like his task, that means the leader's task or the company's task being performed by them. It should look like it is their task. You create a spark inside a person where he wants to do it without anyone else looking for it or not.
Right.
Now, today the world is looking eastwards. That people are confused. There's too much of burnout, too much of work, and leaders expect others to do as much as they can. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But tell me, how did you know that I'm going to be wearing a navy blue and pink combination? I was nervous.
Right.
Self-discipline, I define it as doing what you ought to do, even when you don't feel like doing it, and even when nobody is watching you. And he would say, because the other person would have also done it for me. Talking too much. So I believe that the next decade belongs to Indian voices.
Right.
Speakers who can blend intellectual with emotion, with technology, with humanity, and ambition with ethics. That is what the world needs now, and that's what India naturally offers. Lead your life like a mission, okay, with purpose, pride, and passion.
What if I told you that every second of your life is worth $1 million? Our guest today doesn't just believe it, he's lived it on the battlefield and now teaches it in boardrooms across the world. With over 34 years in the Indian Army and 21 years transforming Fortune 500 companies, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin has made it his mission to turn time into impact. He's a global keynote speaker, TEDx voice, leadership coach, and the man behind the best-selling book, $1 Million Second. From the deserts of Rajasthan to corporate corridors in Dubai, his message is clear. Leadership is not about power, it's about precision. Let's dive into a masterclass on purpose, discipline, and designing the life you truly want. Welcome to Tipsy Talks, and today we are raising a toast to the man who turns moments into milestones, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin. Welcome to the show. In a world where every second counts, some people just don't measure it, they multiply it. Our guest today has worn the olive green for 34 years and spent the next 21 transforming boardrooms across the world. He's a global keynote speaker, author of Design Your Life and the international bestseller $1 Million Second, and a living example of what leadership looks like when it's built on purpose, precision, and heart. Please welcome Brigadier Sushil Bhasin, a man who teaches leaders how to win not just battles, but life itself. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and Jai Hind. Now, it's so nice to be on your show. Tipsy, I've been waiting for it.
Sir, it is my bad that I couldn't actually measure up to your stature to be able to get you on the show and host you, sir. My apologies, sir.
No, not at all.
Sir, you served the Indian Army from December 70 to October 2004. Initially commissioned into Bihar Regiment, and due to certain injuries, you were transferred to ASC, and then you went on to really excel in all the prestigious command, instructional, and staff appointments there, sir. This is a lifetime of leadership, sir. When you look back, what moment defined the leader that you have become today, sir?
I think if somebody really asked me honestly, it was the day that I got my call letter to NDA. That was the day.
Right.
I think if you ask me what really mattered in your life, was those three letters: NDA, the National Defense Academy. And
Right.
you've gone through it, so you know it.
Yes.
I think what really shaped me, like what NDA does, It takes raw material of students and converts ordinary men and now women to extraordinary men.
So,
And that is where everything happened, where your mindset changed, your leadership qualities, your time management, your discipline. And then for the rest of the 34 years, it was just living that, whatever
right,
you had been trained for. So
right.
I would say easily that that was a defining moment. Uh, I mean, really speaking, if you really say the day I joined India.
And fantastic. So
Yeah.
I think I could have asked for a better, I could have expected a better response from you on this. So what was the biggest lesson from the army, those 34 precious years, that you find yourself applying in the boardrooms today, teaching those CXOs and what have you, sir?
Tipsy, that's a very difficult question because there's no one leadership quality that I always say, and I wrote a post also recently on it. There's no one quality that can really be said that this is the one.
Right,
I think it's always a mixture. It is not a thread. It's a woven piece of textile. It's so many things put together. But yet, when it comes to, so in the battle, in the boardroom, I am talking about a lot of things like discipline and teamwork and communication. All those things come. Almost everything that I talk in the boardroom has some uh, relevance or some background from the army.
right,
One, because I feel that military leadership is the mother of all leaderships.
right,
The reason that no other leader is ever tasked or leadership does not involve for anyone else other than military leaders to take its people into dangers,
right,
dangers and extreme risks of life and death in extreme weather, in very difficult terrain, even if the war is not on, you are living a difficult life. And to make people willingly and happily and intrinsically do what they wouldn't have otherwise done is what military leaders do. And I
absolutely,
don't think anyone else does that.
absolutely,
So, one is that, and the second is yes, because all your life you were in the army, so your relevance, your stories, and all would come from the army.
right,
But having said that, I think the main thing that I talk about, which sums up quite a lot, is teamwork.
right,
Right, and I normally talk about teamwork in my workshops and all, and I give the incident of my first term when a Hindi instructor, when one person from my course, we were first termers, and I think the very first week, where one cadet got late and
so.
we were all punished. And I said, aren't these people mad? हमारे सीनियर्स का हिंदी टीचर था. I said,
So,
हमारे सीनियर्स का दिमाग नहीं है क्या? उनको पता है कौन लेटा है ना, उसको पनिश करो. Why am I being punished for it? मैं तो 5 मिनट पहले आया था. And then he said something that you have joined an organization where there's no I. To capture an enemy objective, which is 10, say a section post of 10 people, you have to have 30 people to do it. And those 30 people are not 30 people, it's a platoon. And what's a platoon? It is not 30 people. It is a group of well-trained, disciplined, coordinated people. So you need a platoon. And अभी आपको platoon बनाना सिखा रहे हैं कि
right,
आप अकेले नहीं आएंगे, आप सबको साथ लेके आएंगे.
right,
And that was right at and I joined NDA at the exact age of 15 and
right,
passed out from IM at 19.
right,
So it's a very early age to get so inspired and motivated. So I would always say teamwork is one. But from a very practical angle, when I started my own training camp and I was doing outbound training for corporates, I had I used to ask people, what do you want in teamwork? And they would never have an answer. Sir, team can work rather. Sir, thodi bonding ho jani chahiye. They
right,
would never come out with anything specific. So I created a form and I said that please tell me where are you on this factor from on a scale of 1 to 10 and where do you want to be? So then the things went to communication, trust, commitment, and all that. And one thing I found that every company would write, one of the three was always time management.
Right.
And I realized that what came to us so naturally was so missing in the corporate world.
Right. Right.
So that was where I started doing a lot of work on time management.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Sir, how did the idea of speaking and coaching emerge from a soldier's life?
So that I'll tell you exactly is a coincidence.
Sir.
It just happened. Things happen in your life as a flow, and very honestly, I'll say it just happened because a lot of people take the hindsight of whatever happened in their life and make it look like बड़ा planned था. ऐसे होता नहीं है. To my mind, जो हो गया उसको हम मतलब reverse engineering करके उसको गोल बना देते.
Right.
And what really happened was that when I was the chairman of Army School in 2002, that is the time I was given this task, and there's a TEDx talk on purpose of life. I found my purpose of life at the age of 58 when I realized that there is something more in life to me. My calling, I said, enough is enough. I've done it a lot. I mean, I'm very happy. I've never regretted even a moment of my army life. I've loved it. And I always tell people that's the best life to have, a quality life. But there's a stage when you say enough is enough. And I was from ASC. And in ASC, I know that I am never going to command troops. I'm always going to be in an advisory capacity. So I found that after the rank of brigadier, everything I was going to do was a monotonous same job, only scaled a little higher.
Right.
So that was one factor which was demotivating me. And then second thing was to say that I have been having a habit right from, I won't even say from my younger army days, I'll say right from India or even at school. Whenever I took up something, I took it up wholeheartedly. There was no, no trying it and कोशिश कर लेते हैं and all. फिर लग गए तो लग गए. फिर full throttle. So when I was told by my GOC that things in the army school are bad, I thought to myself that I will delegate my work to the officers. I had 7 officers. I was DDST. So in a headquarters, I said, I'll delegate. I'll do in the evening. There's no, the work there was not that you have to do it right now, but I will take my school as a primary job.
Right.
And then after about 6 months, there was a thing that happened. That story is there on TEDx incomplete, but I'll just give you that the head girl of the school came up on the stage and said that, sir, thank you for bringing our, bringing our glory to ourselves, our self-pride back.
All right.
Okay. And that's the time I realized that I think the journey of those 6 months in which I put all my heart and soul into development of a child, I thought that was something that was inspiring me and I could do that. So I came out of the army for children.
Right.
This book, Design Your Life, was written after I'd done a lot of work with children, schools, colleges. They used to come to my camp. I used to go to their colleges, schools, and do this. So while we got into this and we had a big piece of land, 50 acres of land on which we established this camp, the schools and colleges would not give us enough business to sustain.
Right.
And therefore, it became important for us to bridge those gaps. When there was no schools available for our camp, we went into corporate training. But the corporate training worked much better than the schools and colleges because they were not paying and they were not available as much as, we expected. Right. So schools don't have much time to spare their children. So stories like that. So I got into corporate training, and when I got into it, I started loving it. And
Right.
that was how the whole thing started.
Right.
And then it continued.
Right, sir.
You know,
Right.
when I went, I thought I'm going to do only adventure training. That adventure training worked out to be experiential learning. Then experiential learning, I joined an association in USA called the Association of Experiential Education. 2008, 10 and 11, 2 years, I went to attend this conference in USA. It was totally eye-opening. We didn't know what was happening in the world. We were
Right.
frogs in our own well. And from there, the journey started. And then it was not just going up, it was spiraling up. So it was facilitation, experiential learning, those two things that distinguished the way I was doing. Because, like many other army officers also who were doing outbound training, they were not using facilitation and experiential learning the way I was. So
Right.
that's been the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent, sir. That's really fantastic. So now let's get to learn a little bit about your literary side also, sir. You've written a lot about leadership and time. For the audience, he has authored multiple books, including Design Your Life and the international bestseller, as I mentioned earlier, Million Dollar Second, endorsed by Brian Tracy. Sir, you often talk about the million dollar seconds. What does that mean to you, and why should every leader value time like currency?
So that's a very important question. And, when there's a famous proverb, whenever I ask somebody, what is time? They say time is money. And I think it's a big devaluation of money, and it's insulting money when you
Right.
insulting time when you say it's money. It's not money. Money can come back. You can
Yes.
earn money back, but you can't get the time back. And therefore, time is not money. Time is life.
Life. So,
Because now, if I am talking to you for 40 minutes, haven't I given my 40 minutes of my life to you? And haven't I taken 40 minutes of your life?
absolutely.
So no, we are not doing anything else at the moment. No? So yeah, my life is only about this talk. So time is life. And every second that you lose is a second of opportunity lost.
Absolutely.
And because we understand the ROI very well, because ROI is return on a investment. It is a financial investment and a financial return. But time is a real resource. Of, there's one thing about time that not many people realize. We all know what time is. We know it doesn't come back. We know it only goes forward. We also know it never gets tired. It goes at a particular pace and all that. That we know. But do we know that time is the only resource which is equal to that of your competitor?
Okay.
Okay, everyone has the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
24 hours in a day, 86,400 seconds in a day.
That's a very
Nothing
deep
more,
thought, sir.
nothing less.
Sir.
Right?
Sir.
Secondly, it's the only source that is predictable. No other resource in a company, in a corporate world, no other resource is predictable. You don't know whether the funds you have today, you'll have them tomorrow or not. You don't know how the business will be. You don't know how the market will be. You don't know anything about the future except one, that today, tomorrow, 100 years later, the day will only have 24 hours.
Absolutely.
So you can plan on that predictable resource and say, at least I can beat my competitor to time, if nothing else.
Right. Sir. Right.
So that is the value of time, and much more. So I didn't talk of time management. I've been talking of time investment. Because when you have to use the right words. If I spend time, my subconscious mind takes it that if something which is going to diminish, which is going to go into zero.
Right.
Okay. That is how expense is treated on a balance sheet. But the moment you say invest, so when your subconscious mind gets this message that I will invest 40 minutes with Tipsy today, my mind gets into a search mode of what's the interest, what is the what is the return,
Right.
and the return is not in the form of money. It's in the form of my pleasure, my happiness, my contentment, my satisfaction. And if you understand this deeply, then I think life itself becomes a gift.
Right.
And that is what I have been always attempting to do.
Excellent. Sir, in a world as of today, sir, it's full of distractions. So, how can leaders, you've been training a lot of leaders, so how can leaders cultivate a time conscious culture in their teams? As you said, everybody, those one of those 3 points, which was unanimous with everyone, was time. Not, I'll not say management now, I'll say time investment or taking. So, how exactly do you, motivate them or train them to make full use of this?
Firstly, I'll tell you, and it will lead to this answer.
So,
Is the reason why I called it $1 million second. Why do I say that a dollar is worth a million second? And this all happened when I was in a train, and there was a young captain sitting next to me, and we were having a conversation, and I got to realize, know from him, that he had fought the Kargil War, which
right.
was, I think this was about a year after the Kargil War.
Right.
So I asked him to share some real experiences and stories from there. So he started doing that. And in that, he told me how when he was on the objective, doing that, reorg phase, and suddenly he says in front of me in the dark, when I'm scanning the objective for anyone who can be seen, when you get into that close quarter battle where you kill people with your bayonet and all. So he says, suddenly a tall, burly Pakistani officer standing in front of me with his AK-47 pointing towards me and my Stain gun pointing towards him. And he says, suddenly a thought popped up in my mind that now only one of us can survive. And that someone or that one is going to be the one who pulls the trigger first.
Absolutely.
So he says, sir, I'm telling you all this in so many words, but there was no time to think. There was no time to analyze or ask my senior or whatever. It was time to act. I just pulled the trigger and he fell on my feet crying.
Oh, yes.
I looked down on him and I said to myself, what if he had pulled the trigger 1 second earlier? Then I would have been crying like this. And my mother would have cried like his mother will cry now. And then that question came that what that 1 second was worth a life,
Absolutely.
worth $1 million. And that is how the title $1 million second came up.
Right.
Now, in time consciousness, I have many ways of doing it. There are some exercises. We do analysis of what do they score on their time management quotient. It's not called a quotient actually, but there's a scale on which we measure your time management habit.
Right.
Okay, it's called the TMA, time management analysis. So I have a friend called Dave Buck from USA. And I've collaborated with him, and it is his tool that we use. Now, what it brings out very clearly is how do you treat time? What is your relationship with your time? Well, how much importance do you give it? And I normally give an example. I say that even if there's a millionaire and he drops let's say, a $1 note on the ground,
so
will he leave it or will he pick it up? And the answer always is he will pick it up. No millionaire also leaves that.
Absolutely.
So you are not prepared to leave $1 on the ground, but you are prepared to leave hours of work knowing that you're wasting it. Whether you are just marring gupshup with somebody or you are just scrolling through Instagram for no reason and all that, you're wasting time, but you're okay with that. You're not okay with that $1. So we understand currency more than time. So then I came across with a term, which is not my term, of course, but I came across this beautiful term which describes it called ROTI.
Right.
Return on time invested.
Investments. Right.
And I started getting some companies to do an exercise on saying, what is the cost of this meeting you had? You had to have a meeting in which people are traveling from all over India. They're coming to, let's say, Bombay. And from there, you're sitting and making now all your, what do you call, you do your meeting and go back. What is the cost? And they would only add the cost of the travel, the hotel, and all that. And I said, what about the 3 days you were in travel and in the meeting? What about time? And they would never calculate that. And then I would make them calculate. Okay, how many of you attended the meeting? And if you did 3 days on your pro rata salary, work out the 3 days cost. And then the cost would go immense. And then one company to really listen to me, and they stopped having their regular conferences. They reduced them. They only they were doing it quarterly, they started doing yearly. And the rest of the 3 conferences are done on a video conferencing. And I said, you can do more than one in a quarter. Okay, because the cost of video conferencing was far less than the cost they were paying here. So when you make them understand with some examples like this, with theories like this, they do get to know that.
Right. So can you share a moment in your career, military or corporate, 21 against 34, where mastering time made the difference between success and failures?
Oh, many times. Many times. In my corporate world, I had to go and give a talk to a company in Ranchi. And I missed the flight because of a terminal confusion. I went to Terminal 1 when the flight was going from Terminal 2. And then I realized that though I had kept enough cushion and I had 40 minutes cushion with me, I immediately said, okay, even 40 minutes, I'll still make it. And in those 40 minutes, when I ordered for a cab and the cab was not coming, I was looking at my watch. Every second was looking so that I'll get it, I'll miss it. I'll get it, I'll miss it.
So,
okay. And then I got a cab. And when I got the cab, I just, told them to rush. We reached the other terminal. And when we reached the other terminal, I had to pay him. And those days, UPI was not as popular as it is today. He didn't have any change. And those days were when you had 1,000 rupee notes. So I gave him a 1,000 rupee note and he said, I don't have change. And I said, keep it. Just for a 200 rupees, I spent 1,000 rupees because reaching there was important. Because not reaching there would cost me a lot of, embarrassment and also your reputation. So I managed to get the flight. Now, that is the time I realized that one moment lost in this could have lost me so much.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's an opportunity, sometimes it's life and death, sometimes it is saving a person who's, there could be somebody dying in the family, you reach late and you just missed meeting him. There can be a number of occasions like that, yeah.
Absolutely. Sir, we'll come on to the next perspective of your personality. That's the coaching and mentoring, sir. And you've been coaching very high flying officers in transformational leadership. Actually, in your quest for developing high performing teams, sir. For the audience, Brigadier Bhasin has coached CXOs and aspiring CXOs who need to build, train, and sustain teams that deliver results, not excuses. He's also trained senior corporate and business leaders preparing for larger leadership roles. He's also trained HR and OD heads driving culture and leadership transformations. He's been, for all these efforts, he's been awarded as a CXO 2.0 Business Leadership International Award in Dubai. And also the Mentor of the Year, Flux Awards, Hong Kong. Sir, you built high-performing teams both on the field and off. What are the top 3 ingredients of a high-performance culture?
So one is belief. Do you believe in the organizational goal? Do you believe in the project that is on? Do you believe in what is there? And the leader's main job is to make sure that doesn't look like his task, that means the leader's task or the company's task being performed by them. It should look like it is their task. So when they own the task, so ownership also comes in. When you feel that this is my task, and you feel as involved as uh, the leader is, then you feel that yes, now it is easier. You got that spirit, you got that fuel to drive you forward. Okay. Firstly, just to give you a little example of this, when I was running this camp of us, and we used to have one of the activities we used to do with many corporates was raft building. And we had a lake which was seasonal. So 6 months we had our own lake which was there in our premises. But for 6 months, that lake used to go dry, the non-monsoon years, months. And for that, we had to go to another village where there was still water. So we had hired a little place, and we used to pay a little rental for every time we used it.
Right.
So now there were two companies. One was on coming that day, and the other one was leaving that day. So in the morning, I had a camp manager. He was a Havaldar from EME. So Havaldar Pratap comes to me and he says, "Sir, can we do one thing? Can we club the two कि एक ही पहले वहाँ राफ्ट बिल्डिंग करा देते हैं, उसके बाद दूसरे की करा देंगे." So I said, no, that doesn't fit in because raft building comes at a particular time. It can't be done right in the beginning. It can be done later. Firstly, I want it always to be the last activity where people are charged up. And secondly, to reach that raft building stage, your people have to do many other activities to come to that level of coordination.
Right.
So he said, सर ये तो आपकी मर्जी है, मैंने तो इसलिए कहा था कि हमारा गाड़ी का और हमारा वो रेंटल बच जाएगा. Look at that. He's thinking, he's not looking at the perspective that I am looking at, but he is so loyal. His ownership is that he is giving an advice. That means he's always thinking about the money which is going. And that is something which I really give an example that is ownership. Anyway, so that is one.
Right.
Yeah. Second, of course, as Army taught us, is always leading by example. If the leader is totally involved, if he's always there and he's there to lead, people will be there. But if you say that you should be there at 8 o'clock and you come at 10 o'clock, people will never be motivated enough to do it.
Absolutely.
The third thing is I never believe in motivating people, because motivating people to me, and some people don't agree, but my very strong conviction is that motivation means that you're looking at an external source to push you. That means either you see a motivational movie or listen to a motivational chap or listen to a video or whatever. You need something to motivate you. You need something, some incentive. You need an extra allowance or a perk so that I'll do that. But that is short-lived. That will only happen when you need to be ignited by something else. Right. But what if you are self-ignited? That is inspiration. So I have always focused on inspiration. That you create a spark inside a person where he wants to do it without anyone else looking for it or not. He is doing it on his own, and he is doing it not worrying about who's watching me.
Right.
That I also is call it the definition of self-leadership or self-discipline. Right. Self-discipline, I define it as doing what you ought to do even when you don't feel like doing it, and even when nobody is watching you. So bring this type, if you start inculcating self-discipline by example, doing it that way, then I think these are 2-3 things that can really push people to be the real team that you want to be.
Right, right. Sir, how do you help leaders transition from managing people to actually inspiring them, leading by example, let's say, sir?
So one is of course leading by example. Then second thing, I always emphasize on something called organizational culture.
Right,
See, even in the what we do in the army, uh, two brothers who are brought up in the same environment, same school they've gone to, they have same parents, same family. One comes to the army, the other goes to the corporate. The army guy will still do things which his brother will not do in the corporate.
right, sir.
There
Right,
are some stories and all about it, but I won't have the time to say that. And then I ask the question, why did he do it? And then people say because of patriotism, because of discipline, training. Yes, all that matters. But the main thing is organization culture. It's a culture of the army. You see everyone doing it. So if you ask somebody, why did you do this? Why did you have to go and take the risk of recovering that body by knowing very well that you could also die doing it? And he would say, because the other person would have also done it for me.
right,
If I was in his, if I was the victim, he would have done the same for me. That's what I'm doing for him. So now that is the environment that is created. So I tell people in the corporate world, do you create an environment? Do you create an environment where it is a done thing? You see, another thing you will understand, and probably my viewers who have a little idea about the army would know, that even in a battalion, there is a culture. Now, if you happen to be in a battalion where everyone gets doing very well and gets A gradings on courses, and you happen to get in the battalion and you're going on a course, you will be just ashamed of getting a Charlie because you know in that battalion you will be singled out as a non-performer.
absolutely.
Right? So you will go out, nobody will tell you, but you will go out of your way to get an alpha because just to be with the crowd.
So,
You see, and therefore, I feel that uh, creating that environment, creating organization culture is very important. And as I'm talking, I've certainly realized one thing. When I shifted from army, from infantry to ASC, and I went for my bios course at 5 years of service, whereas all others were just 1 year types. And one day I went into the mess in the evening. It was very lonely. Nobody had come. I probably went early. So I went to the bar, and I was I was a teetotaler, but I just went to the bar and I found one uh, officer who's doing senior officers course in this ASC school. And he was an ex-NDA, and when he, got to know that ex-NDA spirit, and then in ASC we are not many of us, very few ex-NDA chaps. So he, over a drink, told me that this is the first course you are doing.
Right.
Make sure that you get an alpha on it because you will be then called alpha type.
Right.
And when you go on the next course, you will not settle down for a second rate.
Absolutely.
Then you don't accept a Bravo anymore because that's the benchmark you have laid down. How do you get to make people make their team their benchmark? The standards that you lay down for them.
Right.
If they become their benchmark, it is an automatic. Then you are on autopilot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
and this has produced results. In corporates, people say that yes, when we followed it was remarkable. And some people don't change. So some people remain. It all depends on, again, how many corporates take that training and go back and practice it. And how many just leave it there.
Right.
And just saying, thank you, it was a good time. They only remember the good time they had.
Right.
Okay.
Sir, you worked with many Fortune 500 companies. What do you see as the biggest leadership gap today, sir?
Leadership gap primarily is that people are confused. There's too much of burnout, too much of work, and leaders expect others to do as much as they can. So they are somewhere becoming a little low on welfare and very high on targets.
Right.
and then taking authority as their main thing in front of instead of influence.
Right, right. Sir, we'll come on to the final aspect of your personality, sir. And I've termed it
And
avoids the
by the
trap.
way, when we are talking of by the way, when you're talking of this personality, tell me, how did you know that I'm going to be wearing a navy blue and pink combination and you won't?
There's something called telepathy, sir.
Yeah, that is exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This only is a manifestation of the degree of emulation that I would like to do. Sir, I would like to emulate you to that extent, to that levels.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You're being so kind.
Sir, you being the founder, president of PSAI. PSAI, ladies and gentlemen, is the Professional Speakers Association of India, Mumbai chapter, and active member of the APSS. Now, APSS is Asia Professional Speakers Singapore. You've spoken on international stages, both in person as well as virtually in over 10 different countries. And you're a certified speaking professional, CSP as they call it, one of the highest global speaking designations, and among the first two CSPs from India, sir. From the army to global keynote, sir, let me ask you this. What was the first international speaking moment like for you?
So, I first went to speak in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. Otherwise, I had already spoken on international stages in a very different way, maybe in the form of a training. And then I think the first one I really did was in Singapore, but that was just 20 people gathered in a not in a cafeteria, but in a public place.
Right.
But the real keynote on a stage, which was formally done at the Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers, Kuala Lumpur, was in 2024.
Right.
I was, standing there. There was a difference between the other international experiences I had had than this. And the main thing was I was nervous. I was nervous, back like a cadet in the NDA, that. And I was talking about the army. My battlefield to boardroom was my subject.
So,
And I was saying from battlefield to center stage. So I was telling what speakers can learn from the battlefield.
right.
And imagine the crowd of 150 odd people were all professional speakers.
Right.
And there were many CSPs. There were even people higher than CSP called a Hall of Fame. And to be standing in front of them and speaking
So,
did give you that nervousness. But over a period, over the first 30 odd seconds, it got over.
right.
And when I owned the stage and I spoke with my confidence, with my conviction, the type of satisfaction I got that day was immense.
So,
That I was talking to an audience which had at least, of course, mainly it was Malaysians, but there was a sprinkling of about 8 more countries in that, maybe more.
right.
And then to be speaking on the stage is one, and then after that, when you're talking to people and interacting with them, and the type of responses you got, it was a very satisfying experience.
Must be, sir. I'm very sure. So, you address leaders across continents. How universal are the principles of leadership and time?
They are absolutely the same. They are
Right.
absolutely equally relevant.
Right.
The only thing is that the degree varies. The only thing is sometimes the language, the culture, and some strong beliefs that some people may have may differ.
Right.
But generally, I would say they are the same.
Right. So, as founder of the Mumbai chapter of the PSAI, what role do you see India playing in the global speaking landscape?
That's a question very close to my heart. And Tipsy, let me tell you,
So,
for decades, The global speaking industry was dominated by Western countries. It still is actually. And they are brilliant professionals, but largely representing a single culture narrative.
Right.
Now, today, the world is looking eastwards.
Right.
Uh, they're looking for balance and purpose, meaning, etc. India is not just a fast growing economy, it's a philosophical powerhouse today. When we are talking about I just watching a video yesterday, and the type of knowledge that we had given to the world, including I was listening to somebody talking about the relevance of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, why 7 days, all came from India.
Right.
Okay, and when we have that powerhouse, we are the land of very deep studies, spirituality, stories, and solutions from ancient wisdom like Bhagavad Gita to many others. And right from there to the modern innovators in leadership, in AI, and entrepreneurship. In Singapore, I was asked by a university to speak on what is it about India
Yes.
that we have more than 50 CEOs of international giants from India, and no other country other than America has the number of CEOs that India has in USA. Now that those are things which India has to realize, and our corporate sector now is maturing.
So,
Our youth is becoming more confident. Our thought leaders are global in outlook, but Indian in values. And that is what is making a big change. So I believe that the next decade belongs to Indian voices,
right.
speakers who can blend intellectual with emotion, with technology, with humanity, and ambition with ethics. That is what the world needs now. And that's what India naturally offers. Now, in PSA is about 10 years old, 5 years old now, 5 to 6 years old. And what I've seen is, because I am a founder member, I was there right in 2019. And I spoke at the first convention in Chennai. From that till the last convention we had in Mumbai last year, rather this year in February, we have changed like mad. First, there was hardly one or two people from PSI who were talking on international stages. And today, I haven't counted, but I know that there are more than 20 who have already done it.
Right.
And then now, when we have a convention in India, the international speakers are longing to come here. And with the focus on large scale industry coming up and all, the international speakers will be now coming more towards looking for opportunities in India. And
Right.
that is how PSA is actually one organization which is not so talked about, and people are not so knowledgeable, but it's taking giant leaps. It has already become and recognized by GSF, which is a Global Speakers Federation,
Right.
as the fastest growing association in the world.
Excellent.
And we are doing a great job. Today, even the president of GSF is a lady from India, Nirja Singh. So very proud of the fact that we have in 5, 6 years made a big mark.
Excellent. Sir, now we come to a very interesting, fun, and insightful round called Tipsy Sir. It's a rapid fire round where I'm going to shoot 10 questions at you, sir, and you're going to give me just quick replies, very short and crisp. Are we ready for that, sir?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So the first one coming your way, one leadership quote you live by.
Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, by John C. Maxwell.
Right, sir. Coffee or chai during your long strategy sessions? What do you prefer?
Always chai. Always chai. That keeps me grounded.
Right. One book every leader must read beside yours.
It's by Simon Sinek. Leaders eat last.
Eats last. Right. Right. So battlefield or boardroom, which taught you more?
Both. The battlefield taught me clarity. The boardroom taught me patience. But just in humor to tell you what Raghuraman said when he was asked that you've been into 3 types of jobs the army, the corporate, and the bureaucrat, which was the toughest. And he says, I don't know which is the toughest, but I know which is the easiest. And he says, easiest is army, because at least you knew where the enemy is.
Right. Right. So the next one coming your way, sir, a habit that changed your life.
Talking too much. You know, Tipsy, I was told in all my childhood that you talk too much. And then
Right, sir.
And
Right.
then I think a few years before my mother died, I told her, Mummy, all my life you said you talk too much. Now I talk, people come and listen to me. They also pay me for it.
Excellent. Excellent. So the next one, who inspires you today?
I'm very inspired by the latest young people, Gen Zs and millennials and all, who choose integrity over convenience, who have a deep sense of purpose in life. There are very few of them, but they are there.
Right. Right. So what is time to you, a friend or an enemy?
A very close friend.
Right. One thing leaders often get wrong.
I just told you that they mistake authority for influence.
All right. Right. So one word that defines Brigadier Sushil Bhasin.
Committed.
All right. Last one in the rapid fire round, sir. Your advice to young India in just one line.
Lead your life like a mission. Okay, with purpose, pride, and passion.
Excellent. So we come to the end of a very, very exciting, I would say, masterclass on leadership and time investment from you, sir. And I'm very sure the audience would have lots to take away from what they have heard and learned today. Sir, if there was one strong message that you would like to leave behind for the audience to mull over, imbibe, and get inspired from, what would that be, sir?
So again, look at the purpose of your life. Live life with something to look forward to. Wake up every morning when like they say that a dream is not what you do at night or let you while you sleep. A dream is what doesn't let you sleep, and you get up in the morning and jump out of bed because you have something to do today.
Right.
So and in that, I also say I have actually written a post. It's out today only on LinkedIn on doing nothing.
Right.
Where there's a requirement of a pause, like in the army also, we have a pause where we reflect and then go in for an attack. We don't do things hastily. So therefore, every day should be a purpose, even if the purpose is that today I'm going to do nothing. Even that's a purpose.
Right.
Because then you're doing it with the purpose of relaxing.
All right. All right. Sir, thank you very much for sharing those pearls of wisdom with us. And I can vouch for myself that, I am absolutely, totally inspired from whatever I've learned in the last 30, 45 minutes, sir. And it's been such a wonderful journey. And I would love to walk in your footsteps and try and emulate every step that you've taken in your life and try and reach the stature that you've gained yourself for yourself today, sir. Thank you so very much for being on Tipsy Talks, sir. Totally indebted.
Thank you, Tipsy. Thank you very much. It's equally a matter of pride for me to be here today. And as I told you, I've been looking forward to it. And I'm very happy that I finally got there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Here are 3 powerful key takeaways from the episode of Tipsy Talks with Brigadier Sushil Bhasin today. Key takeaway number 1. Time is your most valuable asset. Every second has the potential to change your life or someone else's. Value your time like currency because once spent, it never returns. Key takeaway number 2. Leadership is about precision, not possession. True leadership is built through clarity, consistency, and care. Whether in uniform or in the boardroom, the essence of leadership lies in execution with empathy. And lastly, key takeaway number 3. High-performing teams thrive on trust and alignment. The secret to building resilient, result-oriented teams isn't just strategy. It's trust, shared goals, and the discipline to act together every single day. From the battlefield to the boardroom, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin has shown us today that leadership is not about commanding, it's about caring. It's about using every second with intention, aligning people and purpose, and turning life into a beautifully designed mission. Whether you're leading a team, building a dream, or just trying to make the most of your time, remember this: every moment is a $1 million opportunity. Thank you, Brigadier Bhasin, for reminding us that when discipline meets empathy, that's when true leadership begins. And to everyone tuning in, if this conversation inspired you, don't just watch, act. Like, comment, share, and most importantly, live with purpose. Remember, time is life. Spend it well. This was Tipsy Talks with your host, Tipsy Vadava. And until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and as always, stay thoda sa tipsy. Jai Hind.